Well, good morning, YouTube friends and family. It is very early today. It is just before 6:30 on a Saturday. And I thought I would just go ahead and turn on the camera because today I want to share with you why I can't ever relax. So stay tuned. Well, welcome to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader. So I think I'm going to entitle this video, Why I Can Never Relax, because that is something that many of my friends and family members have accused me of. And while I do like to be busy and active, I can indeed relax when the time is right. So, I have always been a morning person. I have worked the day shift up until retirement for, oh my word, the last 30 years of my career. So I was used to getting up very early as a registered nurse. So, early mornings are my highest time of energy, and I like to get up, get my day started, have everything planned out that I'm going to do and accomplish as much as I can. So if you watched my Aldi haul video, I wanted to share with you, I have these half-gallon jars that I've been storing my sugar long-term in. I vacuum seal them. I just put what it is and date it. And you can get almost 4 pounds of sugar into one of these jars. So I jarred up my sugar that I purchased yesterday. I've been running my dehydrator. I had some more homegrown sage. The dehydrator is full once again. I have the end, I think, of my jalapenos and some strawberry calendula that I'm drying for use in Bath & Body products in the dehydrator, which will get vacuum sealed when I'm finished. Over here is something I have to tell you all I'm super proud of. So I stayed up a little later than my normal last night because, guys, I'm in bed asleep by 8 o'clock almost every night. If I can get to sleep, I sometimes have a little bit of trouble shutting my brain off. I was able to get all 17 quarts of my chicken stock, chicken bone broth, canned up. Everything is sealed. So today I need to clean the jars, label it, store the rings. But I'm actually going to be working on another project, which is really going to be the topic of today's video. But I just wanted to share a couple thoughts with you. So I have a lot of very dear friends, family members who have said to me, you worked 42 years. It's time for you to sell the big house, sell the house with the land, move into a condo, 1 or 2 bedrooms, 1 level, quick and easy to clean. You don't have to worry about yard work. You don't have to grow things. Eat out. Enjoy your retirement money. And guys, I have to tell you, I would not be happy with that life, number one, and that's totally not me, and that isn't attractive to me. So just because I'm retired does not mean I'm ready to stop learning, stop growing, stop enjoying life. And these types of things are very enjoyable to me. Now, I will fully admit, I'm probably doing more canning, preserving, and stocking up than I've ever done before. And we've talked about the season of winter, and I don't want to make this video about that. But it is so nice to get up with a purpose to provide for myself, maybe to provide for family members or friends who are not in the same position, and just work hard every day. So that, in a way, is my relaxation, and I really enjoy it. So for those of you out there who are saying, Kim, you're 60 years old, almost 61. You take care of your mother. You have a lot that you do. Maybe it's time that you relax a little bit. You have some health problems. And I just say to that, I'm not ready to do that, and I'm enjoying my life as it is. So, as a YouTuber, you're always going to get comments that are very kind. And I would say the majority of my comments are very kind. If they're not kind, hopefully y'all never saw them because that person is blocked, muted, whatever. But I do get a lot of comments about, why are you doing this? Why don't you just relax? Both on YouTube as well as, from friends and family. So I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to address it. So I apologize about the noise in the background. I'm always doing 4 things at once. I have my laundry in, and I've been shuffling the pantry because I have to tell you guys, I'm out of canning jar space. And I just added a huge shelving unit to my long-term pantry, but I added a dozen of the 5-gallon buckets for grain storage and flour storage, which took up better than half. So I'm gonna play Jenga here for a little bit and try to get my counter cleaned off, because I'm gonna bring you along because today we are going to can some ranch black beans. Now, before I even start, this is not an approved canning method. Do not follow my example. Do your own research. I have done it many times, and I happen to be out of ranch black beans. Now, by ranch black beans, I don't mean ranch salad dressing black beans, although that sounds pretty tasty. This is ranch, like cowboy ranch black beans. So it has chili powder, onion, garlic, all of those type spices in the black beans. It is a pressure can recipe, so since my pressure canner is still out from all of this beautiful chicken broth, I thought, why empty the water? Why lift the canner one more time? Let's just go ahead and can something else. And then also I want to say, I can't decide whether I love them or hate them. What do y'all think of my earrings? So I'll give a shout out here to Charity over at Gypsy Wife Life. Guys, she sells paparazzi jewelry. And many of us ladies, or maybe gentlemen, who had their ears pierced very young back in the day where jewelry was highly nickel, have developed a nickel allergy. And that's one of the reasons I love paparazzi jewelry, because it is nickel free. So Charity does lives every week or two. I don't know her exact schedule, sorry Charity, but I purchased some earrings and I thought these are so cute because they're like the color I wish my hair was. My hair used to be, not anymore, but I just thought they were super cute and super fun, very lightweight and nickel free. So yeah, check out Charity over at Gypsy Wife Life. She almost always has a link in the description box to her paparazzi store if you don't have time to catch a live, or you've missed the latest live and you want to just order something. So yeah, check it out. So I'm gonna pause you. I'm gonna do all the cleanup stuff. I'm gonna call my mama, as I do every day at 7, and we'll get started canning ranch black beans. Stay tuned. Okay guys, let's get to canning. So this recipe is actually a recipe from Homestead Tessie. If you have not ever visited her channel, please guys go out, like, subscribe, tell her Kim from the Wellness Homesteader sent you. So this is the recipe for ranch black beans, and I am doing them in wide mouth pints. So again, not an approved canning recipe. So in in pint jars, pardon me, I'm putting ½ cup of dry black beans, ½ teaspoon of dried onions. So let me just show you what I'm gonna use here. So I'm just using minced dried onions, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, ½ teaspoon of non-iodized salt. You can use pickling canning or pink Himalayan or sea salt, kosher salt, whichever. 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper and 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm using granulated garlic. So what I've done here, excuse me, is I've washed and sorted my beans. Good grief, got the crookeds today. And I've put ½ cup of black beans into a wide mouth pint jar with my ½ teaspoon of pickling salt. So I'm just going to go through each jar. I'm going to add my ingredients that I just mentioned. And over here I have my hot pot going, and I'm going to be filling these with boiling water. And I'll be adding a soaked, and I have washed and cleaned everything prior to starting. I'll fill these with hot water. I will debubble, I'll wipe the rims, I'll lid them, and then we're gonna go into the pressure canner. So let me get to adding all the things. And I have to tell you guys, I love these ranch black beans. They are better than any canned bean that I've ever purchased from the store. And you can get about a dozen jars from a pound or $1 worth of black beans, depending on where you buy them. So very economical, even with the spices. And I love putting them into my chili. They are absolutely delicious and really add a flavor punch. They're packed full of protein, as you know. Let's do the chili powder next. Okay. And guys, you probably wonder why it takes me so long to find the right spoon. My particular spoons, and I will leave a link to my Amazon affiliate store in the description box below to this product. They're Morgan Haas, so they are stainless steel. They will last a lifetime, I'm here to tell you. But they have some odd measures, so it's not just the quarter, half, one. They've got 2/3 and 3/4 and half a tablespoon, so I always have to look. Because yes, I've made a few mistakes before. Not that it really hurts anything. Spice is good. Oh, this chili powder smells amazing. Now you might be wondering where I got my bulk spices, and guys, I cannot remember. These may have come from the Amish store. They're Spice Select brand, and they are GMO, non-GMO, and gluten-free, which it kills me how much they put gluten-free on because, yeah, most things are gluten-free. But I suppose that they could add some kind of a wheat, I wouldn't know why, to a spice. So let me go ahead and add my garlic powder and my black pepper. I hear my water coming to a boil. I need to soak my lids. I still do that. And then I'll bring you back and we'll start jarring up our ranch black beans. Stay tuned. All right, so I have all my spices in, and what you're gonna end up with is a lovely color of black beans with that pretty chili powder. One of these days, guys, I'm just gonna big fat say a bad word by accident, but I'll bleep it out, I promise. Okay, so I've got my hot lids. Now, today's lids, pardon me, are supposedly not supposed to require heating. I still do it out of habit. So let's start loading them into the canner. I just now turned my pressure canner on, but the lid is off, so I'm keeping it warm. I have debubbled these beans. And now I'm gonna fight with the lids. Ah, they're hot. And using the wide mouth, I'm not really sure I remember how many will fit into the canner. So let's see how many we can get in. And I am cleaning the rims for 2 reasons. Even though this is a brand new flat of jars, you never know when you're going to get a chip or a nick in a jar. And you want to make sure that that rim is perfectly smooth so you do get a good seal. This would actually, guys, be a perfect day for chili. I'm debating. I am seriously debating. I can't remember if I debubbled this one. So I just go around the jar like that. It is going to be only a high of 59, and I've been lamenting in recent videos. Today's actually Saturday. I'm getting ahead on videos, don't faint. That is hot. And we're supposed to go down to 39 tonight, so I'm super excited because this is my favorite time of the year, and we have been unseasonably warm, and we need those sunny days and cool nights to get our leaves to change. We've had very limited color. We're usually much further along. Our average, whew, that's hot. Our average first frost date is October 17th in my area, and this is the 16th, so we won't get a frost tonight, but that's okay. I didn't mention as well, you want to leave about a 1-inch headspace on your jars, and when you're washing and sorting your beans. You know, guys, you never know when you're going to find a stone in there, and you do not want somebody to break their teeth on your chili. They frown on that. So this is definitely going to be 2 cannerfuls. I can't seem to ever do 1 canner full. So let me see how many I have in here. So I could get 7 because these are wide mouths. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my canner. I'm going to move the camera over just to show you how my canner works. So today I am using, I'm going to have to look that up and tell you how many quart and what a Tefal canner, but I can't remember how many quart. And we'll start getting that heat up. We'll start venting those, and we will go from there. So stay tuned a moment. All right, well, we're over here at the stove, and this is my Tefal 22 quart canner. So you may be wondering, why didn't I double stack? So could I have? Absolutely. Would have saved me time, would have saved me electricity. However, guys, I have a glass top stove, and that is a lot of weight on my glass top stove, A. And B, honestly, can I lift the canner off the heat with, say, a dozen full pints plus the water and the weight of the canner? Not very well. Just to be honest, it's very difficult for me to lift it, and I don't want to scratch or break the top of my stove. So that's why today I'm choosing to can in a single layer. And I better move this before I ignite my beautiful Dollar Tree decor that I made. So with the Tefal, it's a little bit different than your average canner that you may be accustomed to. And I have 3 kinds of canners. I have a weighted gauge only, or a weighted weight canner with no gauge. I have a 21 quart All-American that is too heavy for my stove. So right now I'm not using it until I change up to having gas lines run, etc., etc. And I have this one. So you'll notice here it's 1, 2, and 3 on the dial. So as with any pressure canning, you want to vent your canner for 10 minutes. Now it's not even come up to a boil or started, making any steam. So I always pull out my canner manual before I get started every single time. I've had this for a couple years, but I don't want to make a mistake, guys. I mean, this is food that I'm going to feed to myself and my family, and I certainly want to do it properly. So, position 1, which would be like 5 pounds of pressure, is delicate foods, vegetables, and some sterilizations. Position 2 is meats, starchy foods, and some sterilizations. And 3 is frozen foods and some sterilizations. Now, what they mean by that, I'm not quite sure about the sterilization. So because this is a very starchy food, I'm going to do it on a 2, which is about 10 pounds of pressure. So what I will do is I'm going to shut the camera off for the moment. I'm going to let it come up to pressure so that it's venting, and I'll bring you back and show you what that looks like. And guys, really, if you've never pressure canned before, I'm not trying to instruct you on how to do it because every canner is different. What I really recommend is read your manual, go out on YouTube, on the website for your canner manufacturer, and they will have videos. They will have educational videos. Follow those to a T. Do a practice run. Can some water. Get familiar with it so you're not afraid of it. Now, when I do can with the pressure canner, I never leave the area. I don't go upstairs. I don't go out of sight of the canner. Have I ever had a problem? Absolutely not. Today's canners, when operated properly, are safe. But you need to do all the safety checks, which I've already done, before you start your canning process. So I'll pause you here for a moment till I start venting steam, show you what that looks like on this particular canner, and I'll bring you back shortly. Stay tuned. Okay. If you can see, I don't know if you can or not, I have the overhead light off, but I do have my ring light on. And you can at least hear the steam escaping. You can certainly feel it. So I am going to set my timer for 10 minutes. I know from experience with my stove, I can back the heat off to like medium high while it's venting. Then after the 10 minutes, we are going to change this dial, which will shut off the venting process and allow the steam to start building up in the counter, and the gauge will begin to rise. So I'll bring you back to show you that. So stay tuned. All right, our 10 minutes have elapsed. I am going to turn this dial to the 2, and then I'm going to watch the gauge, and once that pressure reaches 2, I'll be playing with the heat. Usually it takes about a medium high for me on this particular stove to keep it at the level 2. So anytime you pressure can, guys, if your pressure falls below the recommended pressure, you need to start your timing over. So I'm going to keep a very sharp eye on this and not let that happen. So I usually leave it on the almost high until it gets up to pressure, and then I start to ease that temperature back, paying very careful attention that it doesn't drop below the amount. So I'm going to process these for 75 minutes. I will remove them from the heat. I will let the pressure drop naturally. I will vent the canner. Once it is completely vented, I will remove the lid, let them sit for 10 minutes, and then we'll pull our beans so I can show you what they look like. In the meantime, I'm glad you can't see my kitchen. I'm gonna put some butternut squash here into the crock pot to have for part of my dinner meal today. And the sacred squash that I bought from Aldi that cost $4. I was going to try to get them both in the crock pot. They won't fit because I'm going to freeze that one, just kind of puree it up and freeze it so I can have it for later when you can't find fresh butternut squash. So, yeah, that won't fit. So I think I'm going to then move on to some bread making. So it's going to be all things kitchen here at the Clark house today. So stay tuned. All right, guys, I just pulled the canner off the heat. Processed 75 long minutes. So you can hear it's still boiling in there. It still has a lot of pressure. So what I'll be doing here is watching the pressure gauge until it falls to 0. Then and only then will I turn the valve to vent. Any remaining pressure then will come out, and then I can remove the lid carefully, tilting it away so the steam goes away from me. And I will start timing for 10 minutes to let the jars acclimate to the new pressure. So what have I been doing for 75 minutes plus? So I want to share with you, I think I asked and had some feedback that people are interested in kombucha. So I think I've shared this before. My son is very into the Asian culture, speaks Japanese, blah, blah, blah. Gave me some Japanese treats that I still can't read the directions on, but I'm sure I can figure out how to cook them. So I had some pretty exotic black tea. It's Taiwan black tea. It is called, we'll just call it Taiwan Ruby, but it's at TTES number 50 Ruby. So I am on my second batch of kombucha, and I did use sucanat for my sweetener. It calls for organic sugar. This is organic sucanat, so I'm not terribly worried about it. It may give it a little bit richer flavor. I also brewed my tea for 7 minutes instead of 5. So as I develop my skill set with making kombucha and I feel a little more expert, I will bring you some information. So what else did I do? Well, we have, let me flip you around. I have in my crock pot, cooking away merrily. Get over here. I have my butternut squash. So I may end up freezing the majority of this, just having a helping tonight. The way I like to do it is I washed this thing like it was a dirty squash. I mean, I scrubbed. I took off the stem. I scraped out the seeds. I put a little bit of olive oil in it. I put about a teaspoon of minced garlic in each of the cavities, sprinkled the whole thing with garlic powder, a little pink Himalayan salt, and a little bit of pepper. And once that is tender, it is so easy to remove. And pardon me, I'm going to sneeze. Pardon Pardon me. Ah. So, since I really do like these crock pot liners, guys, I bought the Boulder brand from Aldi. They're bigger and they fit my oval crock pot a lot better. So once this is tender, I'm probably going to take the sacred squash and I'm gonna prep that and just throw it in because I'm gonna be in the kitchen basically all day. Over behind me, yes, I am using all the appliances today. So I thought, you know what? I'll do the kombucha, I'll do the butternut squash. I might as well make bread because the last batch I made, I froze half, ate the majority of the second round loaf. It got a little bit dry because a round loaf will not fit in my lock and lock, so it did make a big difference. So I'm making one of my favorites, which is a 10 grain cereal bread, and it's made with bread flour, whole wheat, sprouted whole wheat flour, and Bob's Red Mill 10 grain bread cereal. And I've made it a video of this before. I'll try to link it at the end on the final screen if you have interest in going back to watch that. So in a few hours, I'm going to have squash, I'm going to have bread, I'm going to have lots of lovely black beans. So I'll bring you back once I can get the black beans out of the canner just to show you what they look like and kind of wrap up the video. So stay tuned. Well, our first canner load of ranch black beans are out of the canner. Are they gorgeous or what? Now you may see some white spots here and there or even a white line on some of the jars. I have very hard water, so I thought I had enough vinegar in the can or water, but I must not have. So once I've let these sit for about 24 hours, I will take the rings off, I will wash the jars, and I will use some white vinegar to do so, and then I'll be able to dry them, label them, and store them away for lots of good eating. So if you've enjoyed today's video, would you please go ahead and smash that like button? And if you found the video somehow by looking for black bean videos and you're not subscribed, I'd love to have you as part of the channel. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring the bell to be notified of all the new videos. I haven't shared with you all, I'm trying to get a little bit ahead on videos because next week I'm actually treating myself to a 3-day craft type seminar on wreath making for year round, but this is kind of a holiday theme, so I'm trying to get a little bit ahead. So I will be around, I will be watching for comments, but I'll be busy making all sorts of pretty things I hope to share with you later. So as always, be healthy, be well, be blessed, and I'll see y'all real soon. Take care.